This is the beauty of using Gorilla ROI, because you can do this so much quicker just with all these formulas and getting the data that you want. Imagine trying to get all of this data per ASIN for this year, last 14 days, and whatever extra time periods that you want to add. Actually, let's do something like last 60 days, right? Now I'm going to drag this formula across. It's now going to automatically, again, it's not instantaneous, but it is going to pull it in. Okay, I got the period wrong, and I can see that because I pulled it and then all the numbers were correct, so it means I locked something that I shouldn't have. And in this case, I shouldn't have locked the last 30 days B1 into this single specific cell. I should have actually just kept it open or just locked column 1, but I'm going to keep it simple, do it on B1. Okay, so now I'm going to drag it across. And then this formula, I'm going to check, yep, it looks like it's loading. There you go. So now all of these values are different, where you can see, if I expand this formula, you'll see for this Amazon account, C1 is now updated to this year, the time period. F1, it's still locked in as the US marketplace, and then it's still locked inside that column for the list of ASINs. Same thing here, automatically updated to last year. And so doing this, I could create like a super detailed table of sales units sold in a matter of minutes, right? So that's the idea of Gorilla ROI. We provide you the direct data that you need, that you're looking for, into spreadsheets, because ever since the invention of spreadsheets, people have been playing around with numbers, financials, and it literally is the best spreadsheet where you can just tinker around, play with some ideas, create forecasts without having to constantly go into a formula and trying to code things yourself. Now, when you expand on this idea, then it's like you can do all of this, and we provide templates for you so that you don't have to try and recreate everything. So in this case, I've got the SKUs, the ASINs, the matching FN SKUs, the images, the titles, and all of these different time periods for the units sold. And then over on the right, I've got my dollar amount sold, and this combined gives me a very detailed look at my sales performance. Creating this dashboard is much easier, and then you can play around with how you want to visually display it. Think of all of this data like a mini database. You're hosting it inside Google Sheets, and then you're pulling it into a separate tab and displaying it and formatting it so that you can create type of view that you're looking for. So I've got my main sales performance, and this way I can track how things are going. I've got my detailed sales over some specific periods that I want, 14, 7, and 30 days. And then on the right side, I've got an extra column, two columns where I'm comparing the last 7 sales with the last 30-day sales, and then seeing whether there's any spikes or whether there's any big drops that I need to account for. So if I see something like really spiking up where the last 7 is a +10 differential, then I can definitely focus and either send in more inventory, monitor it, or see whether it got picked up on, like, say, social media or something. You can do something a little bit on the downside as well. Like, if instead of just looking for what's going up, you can also look for what's going down, so you can protect your downside. Okay, so just lots of different ways that you can analyze your sales and your analytics. This is a different view where a single formula, now this is using a static formula. So we have 2 different types of formulas. One where you can enter a formula directly into the spreadsheet, or something like this where you actually use our sidebar to embed the formula inside the spreadsheet, because if you embed the formula, it becomes more hard-coded and doesn't try to refresh and reload as often. So something where you've got a big data set that you know you're not really going to play around with much, we highly recommend using these static formulas because I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to just look up this formula. I clicked on this formula search button. It's loaded here. And now if I can refresh it through the UI, or if I want to edit it, then it's going to show me all the parameters that is being fed into this formula. So I'm using the cell references here, just keeping it very basic. It's updating on a daily basis, and it's just pretty much pulling in a daily sales count on a per ASIN basis for the last, let's see, for the last 30 days. And this will generate automatically. And let me refresh this. As it refreshes, you'll notice that there will be a slight flicker. You'll see that there it's refreshing. It's re-updating all of the tables, and then boom, that's done. So it's a little bit different, but it's much more stable, especially if you have a big data set, as opposed to doing, say, something like a formula directly inside, which is flexible, customizable, but it's going to refresh more often. And so a formula like our sales count hist is going to show you all of this detailed data.